Welcome to Common Sense Defense. My name is Ptolemy Pruden, your host for today, and I appreciate you spending this day with us and going through things that will change our nation's defense posture. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of building three FFG 62 Constellation Class frigates per year. That goes along with our Build Our Navy campaign that we have been reaching out to uh, Congress about, and I want to inform you on each one of those points. So we're in the last segment of our third point, which is our building phase for the Arleigh Burke and the Virginia class, and this is the last one for this particular series is the Constellation class. Now, frigates. So let's go quickly through the structure. So typically, let's go with the biggest. The biggest platforms that we have out there are aircraft carriers. I mean, they're nuclear power carriers. I mean, they're the largest armed platform in the world. And the Nimitz class is the first. We have both the Nimitz class, which was built back in the 1970s, and it's actually close to retirement age, although some of us want to delay that some. But nevertheless, so the Nimitz class, and that is being replaced by the Ford class. There are currently plans for four Ford class carriers. They are very large platforms. They're about 1,100 feet long, and they weigh about, I think, 80,000 tons. And so those are the largest ones. Then it goes down from that to cruisers, which we have the Ticonderoga class cruiser. That's been around for 25, 30 some odd years, and are slated to be retired. And although we are trying to prevent that from happening for right now, if we can get another 5 years, 10 years out of those platforms, that'd be great. So the Ticonderoga cruiser has a phased array platform on phased array radar that detects targets out, missiles out, 150 miles out. It carries the air group commander, so they manage a lot of the battle group operations from the Ticonderoga, and that platform is very critical. They weigh about 13,000 tons, and then from there you have cruisers. Oh, you have destroyers. Excuse me. You have destroyers, which we just finished kind of going through the Arleigh Burke class 51. Those are very, very important, and those will come in around 10,000, 8,000, 10,000 tons. Now, we currently are dealing with the frigates. Now, frigates are the go-getters. They are the ones traditionally back in World War One and World War Two that you would go hunt behind submarines. They were like the little brothers to destroyers. But once in the 60s and the 70s, that they were updated with surface-to-air missiles, surface-to-surface missiles, and radars, then it changed the dynamics substantially, because basically a frigate can sink anything that a destroyer can. And then once you add in the new joint all-domain command and control interactions, or NIFCA, which is a Naval Integrated Fire and Control Systems, and you can be anywhere in the world and launch a missile off of a frigate, it just changes the dynamics substantially when you have a distributed maritime operational platform or tool or asset. So, but that's another conversation another day. Right now, we just want to talk about the beauties of the frigate. So let's back up a little bit. I have to talk about the last frigates that we had, which are littoral combat ships, LCSs. I think everybody in the country knows about the LCSs. So there are two classes. There's a Freedom class and there is the Independence class. And the Independence class was like on a trimaran. If you ever see the picture, look like a little space age kind of skips right across the top of the Earth's surface. So that platform had a speed of about 40 knots, and the Independence class was just, I personally had no problems with it. I had no problems because basically a lot of the problems that they had with it, they were able to fix. The other program that we had was the Freedom class, which had a very major issue. Amongst the issues it had was the fact that when it would kick gears kick over to the next gear from 34, 35 knots up to the higher range, that the gears would break. And so they were not able to fix the problem. It cost billions of dollars. It was basically a failure. I'm not going to talk more about it. That'll be that. So anyway, so the problem that we had was that they built 10, 15, 20 of those platforms and just kept building them, and they never were able to fix them. The Independence class, they kept building those, and they fix the problem. So the Independence gets a pass, the Freedom class gets a fail as it relates to. The only inhibitor that both of those platforms had was the fact that they were very lightly armed. There was no lethality with those platforms, and so they upgunned the Independence class, I think 3 years ago, and now that carries a naval strike weapon, which has a range of about 90 miles. Which, as I was discussing or telling you two podcasts ago, it's wonderful that that's out there. Stealth is it's lethal, but only has a range of 90 miles. It's like that's not going to work when you're dealing with with a Chinese-made anti-ship missile that has a range of 250 miles or plus. So kudos for upgunning it, but we need more firepower and longer range firepower. Nevertheless, so we're in a situation where we had to stop the production of the LCS, or that production run is up, and now we're in a situation for the next model to come out. And so that's what everybody's been talking about, is the Constellation Class, Interstage Right Constellation Class. So that frigate is a more traditional model. There's no high fast, 40 knots. It's more of it looks more like a destroyer. It's more conventional. It doesn't have all the high tech propulsion capabilities. But what it does have is it's been produced already somewhere in the world, and it has a FRAM platform, and it's so anyway. The bottom line is the Constellation Class has been produced. So we bought the license for that platform. We're modifying it, and then we're building the first Constellation Class, and that's from Fincantieri, which is in Missouri. No, not Missouri, Wisconsin. Excuse me. It's based out of Wisconsin, and so that platform is being produced there. They are going to be replacing the Freedom class, which they were producing there as well. When that stops completion, then they will kind of be in a situation where they can expand their capabilities. And so I'm really anticipating the Constellation class to be able to be produced. Two of those platforms that can be produced there at Fincantieri Marinette Marine facility up there in Wisconsin. Secondarily to that, I'm proposing a third to be built, and that can be built by the Huntington Ingalls Group out of Mississippi. So if we can, there's capacity to build those there, and I'm hoping that we can encourage Congress to produce 3. Now, let me give you this caveat. When you have a platform that's new, there are going to be problems, and so there's really no point in building 3 and having 3 different sets of problems, or maybe building 3 and the first 2 having their sets of problems and third having that set of problems. So what you want to do is, as Fincantieri makes their platform, you learn from that, you fix those problems, and then when you have your second company building them, then you don't have to worry about going through that growth curve. So that means that you have to get all the plans, all the electronic files, and all those that all put together, so that when it's transferred over and you finish paying for your license, you do what all you do and make the agreement with between the Navy and the defense contractors. Then you bring Huntington Ingalls in to do the third one, and so but that can still be funded. So that's kind of where I'm saying a block purchase of 10 platforms, so that they can start the lead purchasing of the materials and can start preparing their line down in Huntington Ingalls out of Mississippi. So that's kind of where my thought is on that. If we can early now do that, then we don't have to worry about laying the people off down in Mississippi from other programs that are going to be either downsized or threatened to be downsized, and we can keep them busy and active building. So basically, and let's really look at some of the weapons that the Constellation class has. Let's look at a couple of weapons. So the first one is a basic anti-ship missile, as we were stating earlier, the naval strike weapon. that has a warhead of about 500 pounds, and the balance of the is quasi stealth. It can't be. It's hard to detect. It's subsonic, high subsonic speed, and that is really that's the teeth of the um, of the Constellation class. Then also it has a vertical launch system, so it has a vertical launch system that really will provide capability to launch SM2s, SM probably SM6. I doubt if they put the SM3 on the Constellation class, but the SM2 and the SM6, as we stated before, the SM2's got a range of about 30 miles, and the SM6 has a range of close to 200, a little bit over 200 miles, and the speed of Mach 4. It's anti-ship, it's anti-air, it's anti-missile. So the SM6, and so I would assume I would load half or whatever number of SM6 on board, because that would give you a range of 200 miles. I believe it's the Chinese JS-18 that has a range. It's got a range of like 235, 240 miles. So our LRASM, the long range anti missile system, that has a range that's just above that, just longer than that, and also it has so that platform should also be launched or be stored in the vertical launch system for the Constellation as well. Maybe not as many, but to give a longer range. So the Constellation class it's got a light gun on board, as all the frigates do, and it has a helicopter pad for launching missiles, and then I'm sure it should have some anti-submarine Mark 46 torpedoes on there, and it should also have some decoy and towed array capability. So it's a good platform, and I think that it comes in around 7,000 tons, and that's important. And has a length of about just shy of 500 feet. So really, if and it has the what is it it's got the Aegis combat system on it. So it's got the latest the latest baseline 10 system, and it also has a phased array system, which is the Enterprise Air Surveillance Radar. That's also, I believe, on the Ford class carrier. So that is a new platform out that is used on one of the has, I think, 8 to 12 modules on it for air detection, for air defense and missile defense, and so those segue into the Mark 41 system and firing the launching missiles for the Aegis system. So this platform is a good platform, and we know that it has been developed and deployed globally with some of our friends in Europe. And so it takes a lot of the risk out of the model. However, as I was stating earlier, we have updated it and upgunned it some. So I think the size is about 20 to 25% larger than their traditional model. But as that looks good, we're starting to produce it. I'm saying that we should go ahead and produce 3 of those, keep our production lines going, keep the orders going, and then be in a situation where we will have 2 robust surface platforms, the DDG 51 and the FFG 62 Constellation class. We have 2 of those platforms that are out there that will be produced 3 per year for 5 years, which is a wonderful operation for our Navy force levels. So the bottom line is we have to keep production rolling. We have to build and expand on what we have. No one's talking about doing new platforms, new this, new that. No, just good old basic things that we've already been doing. Just do more of it and put more lethality in those platforms. I think those are the types of things that you want to do. That just bring a good common sense defense model to what we're doing in this area as far as the Navy's concerned. And I think that we will have a good series of packages for building. 1, building the Arleigh Burke, 3 per year. 2, building Virginia class Block 5s, 3 per year. 3, building 3 Constellation class FFG 62s per year for 5 years, and then see how that goes to determine what we do next. But then we're in a situation where we're not losing any of our lethality. We're not losing any of our ability for global coverage for our responsibilities internationally. And we have a stronger Navy, and we have our Navy that is built up. So please have a great day. We appreciate you taking the time. Be strong out there, and we'll talk to you real soon.